All right, happy to be joined right now by alumnus, former men's basketball player, class of 2000, Chris Moore. Chris, thanks for taking a couple minutes to be with me today for this Where Are They Now feature that we're working on at DaemenWildcats.com this semester. Just a little bit about your background, Chris. Buffalo native, graduate of the Park School, right around the corner from Daemen. Played for the Wildcats, like I said, men's basketball from 96 to 2000. And 10th member of the 1,000 point scoring club in program history, ranked 17th overall right now with more than 1,100 points in your career. So I think I want to start right there, Chris. We're going to get into, kind of where you are in your career right now. But starting with your Daemen days, I did some research on this. If you can, there you are on the cover of the 99-2000 media guide.
Yeah.
You guys had a really successful, especially your last 3 years. I don't know if you know this. In the 10 years prior to you getting there, the program had 3 seasons of 500 or better records. In the 24 seasons since you were there, since you started playing, 20 seasons of 500 or better. So I want to start right there. This is a long intro, but I know you're not thinking about that at the time, but I think we can really look back at the history of the men's basketball program at Daemen and say things really started to get going in the right direction during your tenure. Tell me about, your experience playing at Daemen.
So like you said, it was it's funny how things change. When I think of Daemen, it's been a complete 180, and as well as Park School where I went, which is a complete 180 to when I was there. But no, we got things rolling. When I signed, when Coach Silveri offered me a scholarship and I signed to come, it kind of opened up the floodgates, because what happened that year is another All-Western New Yorker that made All-Western New York with me, Monty Montgomery, also signed shortly after I did. Once he saw that I signed, we were good friends. He decided to join, and I said, we had a conversation. We can make something special here. And it just kind of rolled on from there. And other guys started coming in from different programs around the state and local there. And it just took off. We had a bunch of good players that gelled together. We had a very competitive schedule. I know, at that time we were NAIA Division I,
right?
Which obviously now you guys are NCAA Division II. But I always tell people it was basically NCAA Division II at that time, because all we played was Division II schools. If you look at those programs that you have there, you'll see a handful of probably 10 or 12 Division II teams that we played, Clarion, Mercyhurst, Gannon, all those schools. And we were very competitive. We beat some of those schools. So,
sure.
Even though it's official now, we were really on that level at that time. But yeah, the memories from, now 20 years ago, 24 years ago were great. We went to the tournament those last 3 years, which was an NAIA tournament over in Branson, Missouri. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we were competitive. We got there. It was a great experience for us to travel out there and see all the teams that made it to that tournament. Just built our camaraderie. We all played together off seasons and in different competitive leagues around Buffalo, to include the Daemen Summer League, as well as some other ones. So it was just a great experience, man. I really enjoyed my time at Daemen. It's funny because now I talked to my friends, again, our All-Western New York class during that time was it was about 10 of us, and a lot of the guys went Division I. When I talk to some of my friends even now to this day, it's funny that hindsight is 20/20. A lot of them went Division I to major programs but didn't play a lot. And now they say, Chris, I would love to have had the experience you had, and that you went to a school that was smaller and you played and you were an integral part. He said, they said that, yeah, we saw the bright lights at the school they were at, but what's more important, either playing or sitting on the bench, So it's funny how you look at it 20 years later and say, hey, I'm really glad at the decision I made to come to Daemen. I think it was a great decision, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Was that something that played into your, were you conscious of that going into making that decision, that you wanted to choose a smaller school? I mean, obviously coming from Park, you're coming from a smaller type school. Did you feel like you were, you were obviously on the same par as some of those guys that were in that All-Western New York class with you? Did you feel like overlooked when it came to the Division I offers and stuff?
A little bit at the time, you know, in my youth, obviously, you know, you always want to, you know, you want to play at, you know, everyone wants to play at a Division I school, and everyone wants to go. But when you look at it, you know, I came from a small school where I was overshadowed even in high school, right? Being at Park at the time, Park was you know, off the radar, completely unlike what it is now. You know, the decision to go to Daemen was one that I was good with, in that I was in the same area that I played high school ball. My family would be able to watch me because I wasn't leaving town, and you know, it just fit. You know, I didn't have a lot of mid to low level Division I offers, none. And I had a couple people that, you know, reached out, but nothing that panned out. So all of my offers were mostly Division II and III. Do I think I could have played at a Division I school? I think so. I think I could have played at some of the mid and low majors, you know, but it's all timing. It's all opportunity. Again, Park School at the time probably didn't help that a lot, and that the competition wasn't to the level where it is now. But Mike, everything happens for a reason, and the same scholarship that I got is the same scholarship that Division I guys get, right? It pays for your education, free school, room and board. So, you know, when you look at it from that optic, it's the same thing, right? So no regrets at all. Completely happy with the decision I made and the career that I turned out to have there.
Absolutely. Now, you know, when again, looking back and some of the success that you guys had as a team, and really being the catalyst to get our program moving in the right direction, you know, can't do that without good players. And, you know, tell me about some of the guys that you played with. You know, you mentioned Monty Montgomery, another guy, I don't even know if you know this, Anibal Solar,
Yep.
Who's just been named the recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award, the
Right.
top honor that our alumni office gives out every year. So tell me about some of the guys you played with and who you might still keep in touch with.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple very important parts to our program, and Annabelle and Monty. You know, Annabelle was our point guard, controlled how we played on the court. He was the number one. He ran the offense, and obviously Monty was our main scorer. You know, our main 20-point plus a guy who could score in a variety of ways, in the post, or can shoot it, can slash, you name it. So. And we had everything in between. We had Adair Joseph, who was tough in the post. Myself was on the other side. And, you know, we had Kevin Lang, Rob Lang, you know, so those guys were great shooters and could play. So we just had we had pieces. All the pieces were there. You know, even if we got into foul trouble, we had somebody coming off the bench that could just fill that role without much loss. So, you know, Coach Severi put together a good team that, you know, had, you know, that, you know, 1 through 5 had pieces and multiple pieces for each position. And, you know, you just saw with the outcome that we had with the, you know, my latter 3 years, that we had great seasons. So, you know, those were just some of the guys, to name a few, but every one of those guys on that list that you have there, you know, had an integral part, even if they didn't play a lot. You know, we just, you know, we had pieces. We had people that weren't 4-year guys that came in to help. You know, Jeremiah Wilkes. You know, and others who just, you know, came for a year or two and helped us out and filled the role. So, you know, it was just a joyous experience. You know, and these were guys that were from the area that I knew. You know, prior to playing at Daemen, but just had played against in high school in different all-star teams or AAU tournaments. So it just made it a really, really comfortable situation and joyful situation.
Awesome. Tell me about, you know, now you said you're 20 years removed from this college playing career. When you look back on it, is there any one particular memorable game that sticks out, or a memorable moment for you?
Memorable moment. I want to say, and again, excuse my mind, I'm getting older here, so I can't remember things as well as I used to. But some of those matchups with Robert Wesleyan, I mean, that was our rival at the time. And, you know, we going down the road to Rochester to play those guys, or those guys coming down to play us, was always a packed gym and a high-intensity game. And, you know, we beat them, they beat us. But I do recall one when they came to our gym, and it was right at the end of the season, going into to place into that tournament. So I had a huge block at the end of the game, packed gym, and it kind of propelled us to a victory. Kind of like the block you saw last night from.
I was just gonna mention that.
Bam.
Yeah.
It was
Bam
very similar to
yeah.
that. Guy got coming down the hill full speed, and I just came out of nowhere. I swear I jumped higher than I ever jumped in my life, and I could jump pretty good at that time, but it seemed like I touched the ceiling of that gym and blocked the guy's shot, and it kind of just propelled us right to a win, similar to what you saw last night with him. But yeah, that would be one memory. I can't remember exactly what game it was, but I know it was against Roberts, and that's one memory that sticks. But we had so many memories. I mean, just again, those NAI tournaments in Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri is not a place everybody goes to, but just going there to go to a rodeo because that's what they had for the teams to do. Those are things that you don't forget. Even in all my travels over the years, those are things that you remember. Yeah, that would be one I would say.
Sure. Now we'll get into your professional career because I think you've got a pretty unique situation from a couple of different standpoints and things that you've done professionally. But I want to ask you because I think you have a unique connection to the program currently here at Daemen, and that's with head coach Mike McDonald. I know you spent some time working for him at a previous coaching stop when you were still a little bit younger and coaching some ball. So tell me what that was like and how you stay in touch with Coach Mack.
So Coach Mack and I stay in touch often. Our relationship goes back in excess of 20 years. Coach recruited me just a tad bit at the time when I was in the park, not much, but following my time at Daemen, I had an interest of getting into college coaching. And Coach Mack extended me my first opportunity to coach, which was obviously at the Division I level at Canisius, and was really unheard of at that time for a 22-year-old to get a position on the staff. And I was able to, the timing was perfect. My predecessor was leaving, going to another school, or actually another career, and I was able to slide right into that position. So he taught me a lot about the X's and O's of the game. And, stayed with him for a couple years at Canisius. Then I helped him out a couple years at Madai. And, again, just taught me a lot about the game. We've been friends ever since. My son comes back to Daemen every summer to attend the basketball camp, which gives me an opportunity to see Coach again. But we keep in touch. I'm close to him, his sons. I follow his sons. They're all playing good basketball in Division I. And his other son that's in the military, I keep in contact with him. He was just out here on the West Coast before he took his new post on the East Coast. But we got to see him last summer and visit his ship. So just very close with him and his family. They're great people. Coach is a great guy, as you all know. Very knowledgeable in basketball, but also just a great people person and a good colleague, a good friend, and just a good all-around person. So, it's good to have a person like that in your life, and I appreciate him.
Absolutely. Now, because of that relationship, you guys were able to connect, and a couple times, you've obviously played an integral role in getting our teams. And in fact, this past winter it was both the men's and the women's teams to get over for tours of the White House. So I know, on behalf of Daemen, we certainly thank you for setting that up for us. I was fortunate enough, I got to go one of the times. I know for me as an adult, it's something that I'm never going to forget. And for us to be able to provide that to our student athletes, because, we're not a Division I school, but we're about giving the kids the best experience that we can, and stuff like that certainly plays into it. So we thank you for that. Professionally speaking, you're out on the West Coast now, based in LA. But give the folks that are watching this, an update in as to what you do professionally, because it's pretty cool.
So yeah, I work for the Secret Service. I'm a supervisory technical security investigator, technical agent, whatever you want to call it. And I've been with the Secret Service since 2005, so just coming up on 15 years here. started my career in D.C., Washington, D.C., as a uniform division officer, and then switched over to my current position back in '07. And, you know, I've been assigned to the Washington field office. I've been assigned to my current post, which is the Los Angeles field office, for 2 years here, where I oversee the technical squad. My responsibility is the entire West Coast, which extends from Seattle down to Albuquerque and then out to Hawaii, Guam, Hong Kong, Beijing. So all of those areas are under my purview as far as technical related matters. And we, you know, everyone knows that we do a lot of protection, obviously the protection of the president and vice president and any other dignitaries, but we also investigate crimes of fraud, counterfeit, child pornography, anything related to that. We also investigate those. It's been a very rewarding career for me. It's taken me all over the map multiple times. I've been to every continent. And it's just I'm glad I made the decision to do it. Prior to this job, I was a Buffalo firefighter, which was also a very good job, one that I really enjoyed, but chose to make the decision to come to this career just because of the doors that it would open in terms of travel and meeting different people and visiting different countries, and it certainly has. It's busy right now. We're in the midst of a campaign season right now, so even in the midst of COVID, we're traveling a ton to protect the individuals that are running for this next November 3rd election. So this is a very, very busy time for us right now. I'm the only one here in the office today. The rest of my squad is out traveling all around the country, and I'll be doing the same here in the coming weeks. So again, just to wrap it up, it's a really good career, one that anyone that is interested, I would definitely say to look into. We actually had a career fair set up at Daemen late last year, but unfortunately earlier this year, I'm sorry, but due to COVID, we had to cancel that. But we are looking to do a virtual career fair here very soon with the athletics program and anyone else on campus that has an interest. And I definitely recommend that you take a hard look if you have an interest in law enforcement to look at it. And I think it's a very good career. Again, it opens a lot of doors. It takes you all around the world and exposes you to things that other careers may not. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what I do.
And then, you know, personally, you're married with children. Anything you want to say about your family? I'm sure, you know, your career keeps you busy, but on the home front keeps you busy too.
Yeah, I am. So wife and 3 kids. I have 2 sons and 1 daughter. My son is 8, and my middle son is 5, and my baby girl is will be 2 here coming up in November. So 3 kids, all done with my contribution to the world. Yeah, so they keep me very busy, especially now with the homeschooling that we have to do here in California. Just yesterday, this time I was at home with both my boys, trying to get them through kindergarten and 3rd grade schoolwork. So full-time job when it comes to that. So when I'm not in the office, I'm doing that, and it's very busy, but it's a joy. It's a joy to see them grow and learn and just taking all the things that life has to offer. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, Chris, again, I want to thank you for taking some time to do this with me today. I know, as you said, it's a very, very busy time for you, but we certainly appreciate you taking the time, and hope people that are going to see this are going to enjoy catching up with you a little bit.
Anytime, man. Daemen holds a special place in my heart. I love visiting the campus when I'm home, and anything that I can do for any of you guys there, or if anybody has any questions for me, you can certainly reach out to me through Mike or Coach Mack, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or anything that you have. So thank you too for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks again, Chris.
No problem.